Technology is
Cutting edge
Advanced
technology.
medical technology.
Developing
What technology can do?
Since the dawn of man, humans have always felt the need to improve their own lives. Whether it was for their own greed or for the hope of a better future generation, it's just in our nature. The thing that we would improve to achieve our goals was technology. Starting with mere rocks as tools, technology has left stepping stones like the wheel or the steam engine behind it, slowly trudging along. Well, that is until about 100 years ago. You see, technology's development is not a straight line on a graph. In fact, it's exponential. It wasn't until about the last 100 years or so when we finally hit that upward curve and started to ascend. Even in the last 30 years, our technological capability has multiplied by 1,000,000, and it will do so again in the next 30 years. Now this is all well and fine, that is until we realize we've hit a big problem. The continued use of technology is hurting not only us but our planet as a whole. The constant burning of fossil fuel is hurting Earth and the nature that resides on it, including us. Sadly, we've let technology develop so fast that we didn't have time to transition from older to newer ways of life. We've become so dependent on tech, so we're not just going to let it go. So now I introduce the question, is technology's rapid advance detrimental or beneficial to today's society? This question is merely the veil that falls over other questions, such as, is technology making us dumber? Is technology causing us to fail in the social aspects of life? And is technology not advancing fast enough? Before we're even able to tackle these questions, let's first dissect the main factor. What is technology? Technology is defined as machinery and equipment developed from the application of scientific knowledge. According to this definition, better technology has to be developed through a better understanding of science. So it would be reasonable to assume that the better the tech, the smarter the people, right? Well, this is only half true. Many people have been saying that as a whole our society is getting dumber due to technology. So let's go a bit deeper. As technology continues to develop, people as a whole tend to buy and become dependent on technology that makes their life easier, the biggest being the internet. Therefore, they make it easier to connect to the internet and search for facts that we would be naturally curious about, allowing us to repeat them to those who aren't so interested. But does this necessarily make us smart? Well, smart is generally defined as the ability to acquire and apply knowledge skills. Basically, we're just acquiring knowledge in a different way than before and then applying it. So does this necessarily make us dumb? Honestly, no it doesn't. Societal life has gotten to the point that we don't have to retain the facts as much as we had to before, as technology does it for us. We're not required to remember the aerodynamics of a spear in the event of an animal attack or the exact directions to a person's house, because technology has taken the liberty of doing these things for us. In the past, if someone did not know this information, they would merely go to their local library or information source to see if they had anything documented there. Technology is just making this a more simplified process.
Do you feel that technology is making our society dumber?
No, not at all. I think it's been easier to educate yourself without access to like resources that previously have been closed off to like the very wealthy. People say that, oh, you know, we can't write as well as we used to, like everyone uses text speak or whatever. But people write more than they ever have in the past. That's, I guess, a result of technology making it super easy to write and to read. Like there's not like an hour of my life now when I'm awake where I'm not reading something, because I have access to everything that's pretty much ever been written. I can go and look it up on the internet. So no, I think it's making us smarter as a society.
Now that we've answered that question, let's move on to the social aspects of technology. Studies by Time magazine have shown that while the IQ of the general public is beginning to skyrocket, they're in turn becoming more dull. The strange part is that technology is increasingly becoming more interesting. Note, however, that when it comes to social impacts, many people tend to go one way or the other. Because of what's considered dull as an opinion, the social aspect of technology is almost entirely subject to opinion. While we're preoccupied with the paradox that is social media, it's taking away from social experiences that should be developed through real-life interaction with real-life people. Conversations are replaced with walls of texts, and dinner dates are now generally lit with the auto brightness of an iPhone rather than candlelight. On the contrary, technological advances have led to things like artificial intelligences to easily replicate human thought processes, and robots to replicate human movement. It seems as if humans are becoming more robots, and robots more so human.
How do you feel about the social impacts from technology, like our social lives, like with both the positives and negatives?
Like I don't agree with people who say that like technology isn't like we don't talk anymore because everyone's looking at their phones or whatever. I don't think that's true at all. I think we talk more than ever and we write more than we ever have before. It just happens we're not writing in the same way that we used to. Or people still keep diaries. We just call them different things. But I think there's negative aspects as well where we can lean on technology for solutions to problems that are human problems and not technological ones. We try and solve societal issues with technology. There's not an app to solve poverty, but we kind of act like we just wait for it. Then there's going to be an app that'll solve everything, and that's not what technology is for. That's not what it'll do.
Although technology has affected our social lives, whether it be positive or negative, progression in science and medicine has increased the basis of life in many countries, including our own. Many times throughout one's life, a person would look back to the past and wonder how much harder life would have been before their own time. Life seems to get easier and better for the general population of the world, and it is yet to cease. Populations are steadily increasing and a surplus of food is being produced with less work due to development of technology. Life expectancy has risen to greater ages than imaginable in the past, and continues to rise, some people living past 100 years due to technological advances in medical aid. It has even diffused the multitudes of the Earth's people, bringing them closer than ever before. While technology has found solutions for many issues for generations, one problem it is yet to solve is global warming. With global warming being on the advance, it would be likely to assume that humanity's downfall is on the horizon. Professor Frank Fenner, a scientist that helped eradicate smallpox, predicts that within 100 years the human race will be extinct. He says, "Since humans entered the unofficial scientific period known as Anthropocene, the time since industrialization, we have had an effect on the planet that rivals any ice age or comet impact." Another man, Professor James Lovelock, warned that the world's population may sink as low as 500 million over the next century due to global warming. With these facts in mind, I offer the question, is technology not advancing fast enough? Without going into debate whether or not we're causing all of the global warming or Earth is just going through another phase, we're undoubtedly having an effect on the climate of our planet. While we're always preoccupied with technology, we seem to forget that we're only a fraction of nature. We make up part of a whole. Because of this, we feel as long as we survive, so will the planet. This is not the case. Our main contributing factor is our thoughtless attitude towards the problem. Like Ian Edgley said, everyone just seems to be waiting for a new app that will solve societal issues. However, he spoke of issues that were man-made. Technology would be able to save us from global warming since it was technology that caused it. If technological progress does not speed up, a saving grace, for example, a fusion reactor, may not arrive soon enough. A fusion reactor shoots two particles at each other, creating mass amounts of energy, replicating the process of creating a sun. In short, it's an incredibly efficient way of creating energy with relatively low pollution output, which in today's society would be incredibly beneficial. Asking you to recycle and be more aware of pollution in this documentary seems almost pointless considering the multiple times in the past you've been told or asked. The likely best thing I could do is ask you to put any newfound knowledge into developing technology to help us. Technology caused the problem. It can certainly get us out of it with a little help. By covering all these topics, I've shown that technology has enlightened us in ways unimaginable prior to the 20th century. Should technology never existed, we'd still be living in the Stone Age. As though it appears technology has saved us from savagery only to destroy us again, it is a vital and essential part to humanity and the crucial puzzle piece into figuring out how to improve the lives of the multitudes. So I leave you with this. Is technology really detrimental?